Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world. So I had nothing this morning. Mind was empty, nothing. And then I was writing on somebody posted something about Bodhidharma, and I started writing about that, and bam, I came rushing in here to share with you the story of Bodhidharma. And he was the first patriarch of Zen. I mean, he came to China from the West. Maybe he'd been Afghanistan. Not quite sure. And he was an old man at the time. Also a master in martial arts, the story is. And he came to China, which already had Buddhism for a couple hundred years. So it was not, you didn't bring Buddhism to China, he brought Zen to China. And he didn't write a whole lot, but the few stories about him are very powerful. Just compressed explosions. And he started the line of patriarchs. He was the first patriarch of Zen in China. And supposedly he was in the line of patriarchs that goes all the way back to Buddha and Yaka. Oh shit! The first Yaka. I can't even say it. Mahayapa. Anyway. The story, when Buddha lifts a flower, that was the beginning of Zen. There was a great anticipation for the honored sage was coming to talk to the community, and everybody had gathered, maybe bringing blankets, and maybe there were children in the background. But when these sages came to a town, everybody came. This is a big event. It's like Billy Graham. And so the Buddha came, and everybody was waiting in anticipation. And he came in with his followers, his disciples, and took their seat. And everybody was, the murmur in the crowd hushed, and it fell silent. It fell silent. What was the great man going to say? And Buddha picked up a flower and held the flower. And the crowd was, what? Well, what does this mean? And and this one monk, Yaha, smiled. And Buddha handed him the flower. Now, this, the legend goes, was the beginning of Zen. Yaha can't say. So this line of Zen patriarchs went all the way down to Bodhidharma. Now the story of Bodhidharma, most famously, is that he went to see the Emperor Wu, who had been supporting and creating Buddhist monasteries all through China. He was a big supporter of Buddhism. And he wanted to meet this sage, and so the great Bodhidharma came, this mysterious sage, obviously full of charisma and vibrant power. And the emperor asked Bodhidharma, said, well, who are you? Now, what is your teaching? And Bodhidharma said, vast space where not a thing is holy. Vast space or vast mind where not a thing is holy. Nothing is special. And then the emperor said, well, who are you? And Bodhidharma says, I don't know. And he walked off and he went up into the mountains and meditated in a cave. So Bodhidharma was up in a cave, in a hermitage. You know, it wasn't really like I don't know, just meant he went to a retreat. People lived in caves. And so Huike, this monk in terrible anguish, wanted to come and see Bodhidharma, and he stood out there and Bodhidharma wouldn't recognize him. So he waited and waited and waited, and it snowed. He was standing there in the snow, and still Bodhidharma wouldn't recognize him. And this monk, this Huike, was in terrible distress. Maybe he'd been searching for peace his whole life. And finally, this great sage had come. And he was determined to get the sage's attention and get relief. So he stood in the snow, and still he didn't turn. So the legend has, he cut off his right arm. He cut off his right arm. Now this is probably not true. It's more, Zen is metaphorical teaching, so it's kind of like, I'd cut off my right arm for that. And that's the title of this talk. I'd cut off my right arm for peace of mind. So he cuts off his right arm, and Bodhidharma turns. What do you want? And Huike said, my mind has no peace. Please give my mind rest. And Bodhidharma said, okay, bring your mind here and I'll give it rest. And Huike said, I've searched for this mind and I find it's unattainable. And Bodhidharma said, there, I've given it rest. And Huike awakened and became the second patriarch of Zen. Bodhidharma had only one disciple, and Huike was it. So that started the succession of 6 patriarchs in Zen over the golden age of Zen, which was around 500 to 900 AD. And then with the 6th patriarch, Huineng, he no longer named another successor. But the golden age of Zen, of China, is what I have become fascinated with and studied through the help of Albert Lowe, of these, the original Zen, this powerful awakening Zen, or awakening. Zen is just an awakening. It's not a religion or anything, and you can awaken without Zen. Awakening has happened throughout humanity without Zen, but this is just a way that is most powerfully expressed, the most powerful expression of pure awakening, because it's taught in dramas, not in exposition and sutras and philosophy and all that. It's expressed in powerful, compressed little dramas between a monk and a master that you have to figure out. These are interactive teachings. You can't learn from a koan. You can't learn anything from Huike and Bodhidharma. It's a drama. It's a mini drama of 2 contradictory viewpoints or minds in one situation. There's the viewpoint of the monk, and there's the viewpoint of the master. And you put these together, and it's called a koan. Now, it's up to you to penetrate the koan, to inhabit it, because the viewpoint of the monk and the viewpoint of the master is your mind, is the contradiction in you and in me, is the unrest in you, is the nagging feeling that nothing fits. It's a Zen fit. It's a Zen fit. You're having a fit. You can't find peace. You are Huike, you see. We're all Huike, with this nagging feeling that something is missing. What is it? I can't find it. And so Bodhidharma says, bring me your mind. And he says, what? I can't find my mind. There. Now that is a flip from a reactive mind to a creative mind. So all of these koans contain a contradiction which, when you see it, when you can see it, it's a sudden seeing. It's not like you can understand it. You can't analyze a koan. You can't figure it out. You can't diagram it like a sentence. You can't explain it. You have to suddenly see it. Bam! You have to see suddenly a total reversal of the understanding, from a struggle to aha, from a tension to release, from a joke to the laughter. So the koan contains, is bottled laughter, is bottled, it's a bottled contradiction of our consciousness, which, when you work with it, because you want rest, and you will stand in front of that koan in the snow and even cut off your right arm for it, when you have that kind of passion, that kind of yearning, you see, life becomes the koan. Your life becomes the contradiction. And so the koan is kind of like a metaphor for our own consciousness, our own contradiction, our own search for rest, our own search for home, you see. When you're home, you're at rest. So, a Zen, one of the Haikun, one of the Zen patriarchs, said, coming and going, you're always at home. Coming and going, you're always at rest. So we get back to Huike. Suddenly, surprisingly, immediately, he was at rest. And he was awakened, and he became the second patriarch. So, what is the mind? What you see, I cannot find my mind there. Your mind is at rest. This reminds me of another koan. Once you get into these koans, once you start working with them, and I recommend Albert Lowe, is that you see them everywhere. Everything is a contradiction. Everything is a twist. Everything is ironic. Everything is a joke. Everything is laughter. Seeing is laughter. So I'll end with this little koan. So a monk came to the master, and the master said, listen, there's a goose in a bottle. A goose was raised in a bottle. Now, how can you get the goose out without killing the goose or breaking the bottle? It's impossible. It's impossible to get the goose out without killing the goose or breaking the bottle. Well, the monk gave up. I quit. I can't figure this out. And as he turned around, the master called out, "Sir!" And the monk turned, "What?" "There! The goose is out of the bottle." Thanks for dropping in. See you tomorrow.